Hello everybody, Don't Cliche here. Welcome to the episode of Don't Disney Movie Reviews. Let's talk about a movie that I've already reviewed, the TV adaptation of A Wrinkle in Time. When it aired on ABC on April 24th, 2003, it received mixed reviews from critics. However, I still liked it and gave it a good review. 15 years later, Disney made a theatrical adaptation of the book, and that happens to be what I'm reviewing this week. Released on March 9th, 2018, the movie is A Wrinkle in Time, 2018. The film begins with young Meg Murray, played by Lyric Wilson, spending some time with her father Alexander, played by Chris Pine. Her mother Kate, played by Gugu Mbatha Raw, then comes in and Alexander asks her if she's ready to meet her new adopted brother.
Okay, so this is our love. Don't worry.
It's not gone. It's just enfolded. Love is always there, even if you don't feel it. It's always there for you.
One night, 4 years later, Meg, now played by Storm Reid, is having trouble sleeping because her father mysteriously disappeared. So she goes downstairs to find her adopted brother, Charles Wallace, played by Derek McCabe, in the kitchen listening to the radio.
Couldn't sleep either. Why didn't you just come up to my room?
Because I knew you'd be down. Hey, you made sandwiches, and I'm cooking milk.
This is a lot of milk, Charles Wallace.
It's good to be prepared. You never know who'll stop by.
And I'm Michelle Norris. Tomorrow marks the 4-year anniversary of the disappearance of NASA scientist Dr. Alex Murray. Dr. Murray went missing just a week after
They're talking
publicly
about
announcing
Daddy.
he could travel the universe with his mind.
91 billion light years traveled like that.
Authorities note there are still no leads in the case.
Later at school, Veronica Kiley, played by Rowan Blanchard, bullies Meg about her father disappearing.
What's left of my patience is fading slow. Do I have the strength to get where I need to go? Is anybody near me? Does anybody feel me? Listen what I need. Wish I could be a little bit braver, a little more sooner, a little more cooler.
During recess, Charles Wallace is coloring and he hears two unnamed teachers, played by Will McCormick and Yvette Kaysen, talking about Alex disappearing.
Shame on you for talking like that.
Oh, my dear, I'm sorry.
And I'm not odd, you are, because you think making up mean stories about people makes you feel better about yourselves. Well, it doesn't, does it?
Charles Wallace, we don't talk to teachers like that.
And Meg might be a mess, but she has more potential in her pinky than you do in your whole body. Did you hear that, Meg? Meg, over here, did you hear that? Meg, you may be a mess, but you have more potential than anybody here. Mommy was awkward and funny looking at your age, too. And look at her now. She's beautiful.
So, looks like crazy runs in the family.
What did you just say?
I see why your dad left. She's talking to.
Hey, Veronica.
Because of both Meg and Charles Wallace getting into trouble, they are sent to the principal's office where Principal James Jenkins, played by Andre Holland, talks to her.
Veronica Kiley's parents are on their way here. They're worried for their daughter's safety.
Their daughter is mean.
You hit her in the face. You were a top student. Top attitude. But look at you now. You're aggressive, you're hostile, you shut everybody out and then wonder why they don't like you.
I don't wonder, and I don't care.
Maybe that's your problem.
I don't have a problem.
You can't keep using your father's disappearance as an excuse to act out. What do you think he would say about all this? Seriously. If he walked in that door today, what would happen?
The world would make sense again.
Listen. All I'm saying is, it's been 4 years. Odds are, he's not coming back.
Meg then walks out of the office without being excused by Principal Jenkins, and later at home, her mother makes her write an apology note to him and Veronica.
Mom! She called Charles Wallace crazy.
That's no excuse.
Well, Dad always told me to stand up for what I believe in.
Don't use Dad like that. It's not fair.
Meg and Kate then hear somebody talking to Charles Wallace, and they meet Mrs. Whatsit, played by Reese Witherspoon.
Mrs. Who?
No, Mrs. Whatsit. Mrs. Who is, she's like a billion years older and way more knowledgeable.
What can I do for you, Mrs. Whatsit?
I called her ceiling sheets, guys. She's harmless.
You're 6. Come on. What do you know about harmless?
Have I ever been wrong?
Well, one of these days you might be Charles Wallace.
Oh, I highly doubt that. He's one of the greatest minds in recent history. He's prodigious. But of course, we can't take any credit for our talents. It's how we use them that counts.
Okay, then. The thing is, we don't know you, and it's late, so...
Oh, is it? I'm terrible with time.
So before Mrs. Whatsit leaves, she tells Kate that she and her husband achieved a tesseract.
A tesseract?
That's what I said. Tesseract.
Is this some kind of joke? Did Veronica put you up to this?
You really don't trust easily, do you? Charles Wallace, I'm not sure about Meg.
Give her a chance.
Okay. You're the boss. I better run.
Wild nights of my glory.
The next day, while Meg and Charles Wallace are out walking, they run into one of Meg's classmates, Calvin McKeith, played by Levi Miller.
What are you doing here?
I don't know. I was doing my homework and suddenly I got this feeling that I had to come here. Like right here. Is that weird?
Maybe a little.
The truth is, you were called here. You're good at diplomacy.
What do we need diplomacy for, Charles Wallace?
Well, the fact that you asked is exactly why we need it. So what do you say, Calvin? You want to come with us?
Sure. Why not?
Great. Let's go meet Mrs. Who.
Charles Wallace then takes Meg and Calvin to a dilapidated house where they find Mrs. Who, played by Mindy Kaling.
Mrs. Who? Meet my Meg.
Okay. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rumi. Persian.
Mrs. Who falls asleep and the kids leave. Calvin joins the Murrays for dinner, and Kate tells him about her and Alex's work, and she has a flashback about Alex at NASA.
So, what if we are here for a reason? What if we are not just in the universe, but the universe is within all of us?
Think about quantum entanglement. Two electrons, once bonded together, in love, if you will, suddenly separated by a galaxy, but somehow still just as connected. An unbroken union despite being galaxies apart.
And our most recent calculations show us that these fields connect us to other dimensions. Dimensions outside of the limitations of space and time. Imagine that, imagine. Rather than enduring the oppressive rules of time and space, we could wrinkle it. 91 billion light years traveled like that. Crazy. And we don't need rockets, we don't need spaceships, we don't need anything. To utilize a tesseract, all you need is to tap into the right frequency. You just need your mind.
After dinner, Meg and Calvin go out into the backyard, and Veronica, who happens to live right next door to the Murrays, watches them.
Oh, no, not now. Come here.
Veronica's your neighbor?
Yes, come here, please.
So you're embarrassed to be seen with me?
Yeah, right. Other way around. She's gonna tell everybody that you are here with me, and I'm just trying to protect your reputation, so can you come here?
She already saw us. Besides, there's nothing to be embarrassed about.
You say that now, but you don't know what it's like having every move you make mocked and ridiculed.
You'd be surprised.
Suddenly, the three misses, with the third being Mrs. Witch, played by Oprah Winfrey, then appears.
Come on, Mrs. Witch, show yourself.
How's this? Is this good?
Great. Perfect. Wonderful.
You're the wrong size, Mrs. Witch.
Is there such thing as the wrong size?
No, never. And might I say how honored I am to be on this, my very first mission. I was chosen for my great verbalizing and materializing skills.
What are you?
I am a part of the universe. Just like you, Meg.
Mrs. Witch explains that they heard a human call out in the universe, but couldn't find out where it came from, so they followed it to its destination, which is right there.
It brought them here, Meg. To our house. The call must have been Daddy's.
My father's alive.
We believe he is. Your father has done an extraordinary thing. No human has ever traveled so far out in the universe. But he may be in danger. And we're here to help you find him.
So each Mrs. takes one of the kids to a tesseract, and they end up on a planet called Uriel, which is where the Mrs. think Meg and Charles Wallace's father was tessered, and allow them to look around.
Come on, Meg. Go ahead.
Mrs. Whatsit then tells Meg to ask a bunch of flowers if they know where her father is.
This is our father. Can you help us find him, please? Please.
I can't tell what they're saying.
The flowers point in the direction where their father went. Mrs. Whatsit turns into a flying creature. The kids fly off on her back and follow the flowers. They then see something in the sky. Calvin falls off, but luckily the flowers save him.
I'm all right.
Calvin!
I'm sorry. I'm okay.
Mrs. Witch then tells the kids that the thing they see in the sky is called the It, which is an evil spreading throughout the universe.
Evil? Like, what kind of evil?
How many kinds of evil do you need?
What's it? An evil that's actively spreading throughout the universe. So as we continue on, we must avoid it at all costs and focus on finding your father.
But we don't know where he's gone.
Mrs. Whatsit suggests that they should visit a seer.
They'll narrow the search for us.
What's a seer?
A moderate visionary, an occasional motivator of insight. Hit or miss, but I know a very cute one. I mean, a good one.
That sounds sort of promising.
So the missus and the kids test her to another planet called Orion, and Meg asks Mrs. Witch why she feels pain and not glorious.
You don't test her well.
In what way? Because I don't feel or see anything when we test her.
And you won't until you become one with the universe and yourself. As it is, it seems like you don't even want to return as yourself.
Well, is there any way I could return as somebody else that I might like?
They soon meet the seer named the Happy Medium, played by Zach Galifianakis.
Well, you obviously don't understand the importance of balance, of moderation, of the happy medium.
You sound like my mother.
Is your mother a baritone?
How's it going, Happy?
Everything's fine. What's it? You look nice.
I do?
I like your outfit. It's like a person outfit.
Oh, thank you.
You look like a person.
Thank you. But you look pretty okay as well.
Thank you, Earth Tones.
They tell Happy that they're looking for Meg and Charles Wallace's father, who is lost in the universe.
Handsome fella. How am I supposed to say no? Okay. Center yourself. 1 foot up, please. Okay. Now, very little is up to moi. All right? Your energies will affect what we see. So, core in, spine long, shoulders down, buttocks taut. Close your eyes.
You're kidding.
Do I look like I'm kidding?
Very much so.
A little. I'm not. I'm not. Let's try this again.
Happy tells Meg to think of memories about her father, but she says she can't.
I'm sorry, but I really don't understand how thinking about him is going to help us find him. All I do is think about him.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Witch, but I think we need to show her something. She needs to understand what's possible. She needs to know what's at stake.
Mrs. Witch then tells Meg what the It does.
The It's home may be Camazot's, but through darkness, the It's reach spreads far beyond, even to your own planet. The only thing in the universe that travels faster than light is the darkness. The It invades the place inside of us where hope and joy live, replaces it with jealousy and judgment, pain and despair.
What's up, Pops? How you doing tonight? Hey, man, don't do that. What you got up in here? What are you doing, man? Man, do you know how I work for the movie? Hey, man.
Happy then has Meg think of her father.
I don't wanna float through life on a cloud of man-made ice. Don't want it to pass me by. Don't want it to pass me by. Saddle up now for the ride. Waiting for the moon to rise. Don't want life to pass me by. Don't want life to pass me by. But I've been waiting for a magic moment. But maybe there are magic moments. Could it be a magic moment now? I've been waiting for a magic moment. But maybe there are magic moments.
Love. That's the frequency.
They then see where Alex went, and he's heading for Camazot's, which is where the It is, but they can't test her there because it's dark.
This is no longer a search. It's a rescue. We must go back to Earth, speak to your mother, regroup.
No, I cannot leave here without my father.
It's for the best, Meg. We have to make a plan.
Please, I've come all this way. We're too close to finding him to turn back.
Planning is essential. Churchill, British.
They then end up on Camazot's because of Meg's will to find her father, redirecting the tester, and the missus can't stay because darkness is stronger than light. So they each give Meg a gift, which are Mrs. Who's glasses, the knowledge of Meg's faults, and the command to never separate.
This is a planet of many faces, run by one cruel and vicious mind. The It desires our strongest lights. Do not give in.
We're going now. Be careful.
When shall we three meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain? Shakespeare.
Keep going. We'll be watching.
After the missus leave, the forest appears and Charles Wallace has disappeared.
Charles Wallace!
Charles Wallace!
Charles Wallace!
Charles Wallace!
There's danger here. He's safe. Over the wall.
Wait at the stream.
Get to the wall.
What is that?
Get to the wall!
Meg and Calvin run for the wall as the place is destroyed. Meg then sees that the vortex is picking up things and throwing them over the wall, which gives her an idea.
Is it 50? Oh no. Was it? We won't make it that way!
No, Meg! We have to keep going!
This is the only way! Do you trust me?
I trust you!
So they get into a hollow tree, which the vortex picks up and throws over the wall. Meg and Calvin then clean themselves off in a river and find Charles Wallace.
I saw houses down there. Come on.
They go down to the houses, hoping to find Alex. They come to a cul-de-sac where at each house a kid is bouncing a ball.
I can't stand the sound. The rhythm. It hurts.
Come here. Cover your ears.
The mothers of each child come out and tell their kid dinner's ready. One of the mothers asks Meg, Calvin, and Charles Wallace if they're lost.
I bet you're hungry and in need of comfort. I have roasts and potatoes and cakes of all sorts.
I could eat.
No. Thanks, we're good.
Cakes of all sorts.
No. Trust no one, remember?
The location then changes to a beach where the kids see a lot of people enjoying themselves.
Do you think this person would mind if I ate all their food?
Probably.
Suddenly, they're approached by a man named Red, played by Michael Pena.
Well, I'm Calvin. This is Meg. This is Charles Wallace.
Oh! You're Alex Murray's kids, aren't you?
You know my father.
Yeah, I totally know your father. He's a great guy. I just saw him a couple minutes ago.
Where? I mean, we've been looking for him. Can you take us to him?
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, almost. He should be done working pretty soon. You know, he's kind of a busy guy. You know, a bit of a workaholic, but I don't have to tell you that, right? You know what? Guys, sit down. Relax. There's nothing to do here, nothing to worry about.
They then sit down and have something to eat, but to Charles Wallace, all the foods taste like sand.
Huh. I thought you were like me, Charles Wallace. I thought you were special. And you are. You passed the test. It's as simple as that. Simple as twice 1 is 2, twice 2 is 4.
Red then hypnotizes Charles Wallace, and he goes with him, and Meg and Calvin follow them. They then end up in Central Intelligence, where Charles Wallace, hypnotized by it, tells Meg that her father left her.
I'd rather be anywhere else in the universe than with you. Why would you even want to see him? Oh well. I wish I could take you to him, but I can't. He's gone.
He's not gone.
You're right. He's not gone, and yet I don't see him.
Meg then looks through Mrs. Who's glasses and sees an invisible staircase, which she climbs and soon finds her father being held prisoner.
This is a trick. A dream.
It's me. It's me. I've missed you so much.
Alex and Meg return to Calvin and Charles Wallace, and Alex sees what the It has done to Charles Wallace.
Charles Wallace. Is that you, son?
Son? Depends on who you ask. Let me get a good look at you.
You all right?
Yeah.
Charles Wallace.
You don't look like how I pictured you. I'm underwhelmed.
Oh, Charles Wallace. Hey, what has the It done to you?
The It has shown me my potential. I can see the weaknesses of any soul. Like, take your soul. So desperate to matter in the universe. You'd abandon your own family and never look back.
It's not true, I swear.
Doesn't matter.
So Charles Wallace drags Alex, Meg, and Calvin, and the It tries to take Meg and Calvin under power. But Alex manages to open a tester to take them home with him and leave Charles Wallace behind, which Meg refuses to do.
Stop!
Meg then finds herself in what looks like a cave and finds Charles Wallace still being controlled by the It, and he introduces her to the It.
Welcome to the darkest mind in the universe. Extraordinary, don't you think?
That's one word for it.
Could really use a guy like you. So, what do you say? Want to join us?
No thanks.
Meg then confronts Charles Wallace with corruption and finds out that the It uses deception and power hatred. So she uses power of her own for him to the knowledge of her not being perfect.
I love you. I love you, Charles Wallace. I love you!
Stop it!
Please. I love you, biscuits.
And with that, Charles Wallace is free from the It's control. The It is weakened and the misses return.
Charles Wallace, your light has returned.
Meg, you did it.
I tried. Well, I knew you could do it all along. I never doubted you for a second.
Well, I used my faults like you said.
Such beautiful faults.
I'm so proud of you, Meg. The universe is bright tonight because of you. You weakened the It, and you've given your Earth and everyone on it a real chance.
You should be proud. Some of our best warriors have come from Earth. Einstein, Curie, Gandhi.
Austin, Kahlo, Schindler.
Nelson Mandela, Maya Angelou.
And now, Meg Murray.
They then tell Meg that she has to start the tester to take them home.
Goodbye, my loves.
Farewell, my little warriors.
Until we meet again.
So Meg tessers back to Earth and is reunited with Charles Wallace Calvin and her father.
Hey,
You did it.
I sure did. Mommy!
Hi. Are you okay?
I'm okay, Dad.
Good. I'm sorry, Meg. I wanted to shake hands with the universe. But I should have been holding yours.
Meg and Charles Wallace go inside and are reunited with their mother.
Wait, am I asleep? Am I dreaming?
No, you're not sleeping. And it's important you know that.
Why?
Because Meg brought you something.
Kate's then reunited with Alex.
I'm sorry I'm late. So sorry. Your calculations. They gave us the universe.
Calvin then goes home to talk to his father.
I knew you could do it. Love you. Always.
Hey.
Thank you.
And that was A Wrinkle in Time from 2018. My thoughts? It's really good, but it bombed at the box office. On a budget of $100 million and $130 million, it only made about $101 million domestically, and about $33 million from the rest of the world, for a total of only $133.2 million worldwide, making Disney lose $130 million and got mixed reviews from critics. Now let's move on to the production of the film. Disney retained the film rights to the book of the same name by Madeleine L'Engle. Like I said earlier, 15 years before, it was adapted into a TV movie. After Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland was a huge success, Disney got Jeff Stockwell to write the script for Cary Grant, who before worked on the Chronicles of Narnia films and Bridge of Terabithia, and had opened a new studio called Bedrock Studios. However, the film was part of a tax deal with Program California Film Commission, and production costs went offset. So Jennifer Lee would be hired to write a new script, In February 2016, Ava DuVernay was offered to direct the film and was confirmed as director later in that month, making her the first black woman to direct a live-action film. With a budget higher than $100 million and got good sentiments in the industry. For the casting, Oprah Winfrey was hired to play Mrs. Witch, while Reese Witherspoon and Mindy Kaling were hired to play Mrs. Whatsit and Mrs. Who, respectively. The filming started in November 2016 in Los Angeles, California. After finishing there, the production would move to New Zealand for 14 days. And now it's time for me to give my opinion on the film. In the end, the 2018 adaptation of A Wrinkle in Time certainly is better than the TV adaptation from 2003, since it has better looking visual effects and stuff like that. I give this film 4 stars out of 5. Well, that's it for A Wrinkle in Time from 2018. Be sure to join next week when I'll be reviewing the Disney film with George Lopez as a dog. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell your friends about me, leave some questions in the comments below, subscribe, and hit that like button.
People stand, some people move. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. As long as you've got hope, you'll find your way. There's power in the thoughts that you think, there's power in the words you say.
Who's there? Uninvited guest is very unsettling. I do not like visitation.
What's it?